Hi everyone, it's Chris at Tropical Discovery Workshops here. I hope you're well and staying safe, of course. So a bit of housekeeping first of all. Why am I making this lockdown series? Well, as with a lot of people, I can't work at the moment. So any rescues and rehomes that I get in, or that I've had in, that I can't rehome at the moment, I'm funding. I'm funding their feed, their upkeep, and if any vet bills come up, that comes out of my pocket as well. So I'm just trying to recoup a little bit of funds back, and there's ways that can happen. Every view on my YouTube channel, on my lockdown series, I get a little bit back from YouTube for those. Also, if you wish to, and if you're in a position to, there is a link in the description field below for my Patreon account or my GoFundMe, which is my Tropical Discovery Workshops Rescue and Rehome Fund. So if you wish to donate to that, if you go to my website www.tropicaldiscovery.co.uk, there's a little donate button there, and that'd be great. That would be absolutely fantastic and hugely appreciated. Or you can just share this video or any of the videos. That'd be great as well. So thank you very much so far. Now, a very important message to Maya. Maya, I'm sorry I can't make it to your birthday this year because of the lockdown, but as soon as it's all blown over and everyone's got back to some sort of normality, we'll catch up and I'll bring some snakes along. I know they're your favourite. So until then, have a very happy birthday from myself, Chris, and all the animals at Tropical Discovery Workshops. Take care. You are going to notice this beard's going to start getting a bit scruffy, a bit unruly and a bit long. I've decided that during the lockdown I'm going to grow it. I'm going to see how long it grows. And I will trim it off trim it down when the lockdown's over. So if you're thinking, wow, that's looking scruffy, I'm not going to blow dry it and straighten it out and everything every morning. So I'm just going to brush it best I can and just see how long it gets really. So there. Now, Asian Hornets. I've been getting a lot of comments on my Asian Hornet video on YouTube regarding people saying that they've seen these hornets more often than we think they're visiting this country. I'm not saying people aren't seeing these, but I haven't had any photographic evidence, and it's really important that if anyone does get evidence of these being in the UK, that they report them on the government website. If you just type into a search engine UK Gov Asian Hornets reporting, it'll take you to a page and it'll tell you about what to do to submit your finding. Now, if you are unsure about the difference between an Asian and a European hornet, the European hornet is yellow to orange, and it's got yellow bands, like a giant wasp, but just varying in colour, more of an orangey yellow. Now the Asian hornet, which is the one we need to be keeping an eye on, or keeping an eye out for, is more black, and it's got one yellow band near the end of its abdomen. Now, you can't really mix the two up. So if you do see a hornet, it's more than likely going to be a European hornet. If you do see one of the Asian hornets, you need to report it if you can, please. And everyone's got a phone on these days with a camera. Take a photo of it, because that is really, really essential for reporting it to the government. They need to have proper evidence to show that they are actually here. But as far as we know, there's only a handful that make it over here anyway. But we need to keep an eye on it because they're deadly towards our honeybees. So whip scorpions. A couple of years ago I bought some whip scorpion babies. Damon diadema. That's their scientific name, by the way. These grew up, had 2 males and 2 females. One of the males molted, and while he was soft, one of the other females ate him. So it wasn't what we wanted to see, but I still had 1 male and 2 females in a setup. So on Friday, I noticed that there were some babies on one of the mummy's backs. I knew that she was pregnant. You could see the eggs under her abdomen, but she actually gave birth. We'd had a lost egg sac last year, where it might have been because she was too young. However, she actually had the babies this year. They were all over her back. And then what I wanted to do was wait until the weekend was over so that I could make sure that she wasn't going to eat them or there was going to be no problems, and then I was going to show you how I set up another enclosure similar so that I could put the other adult male and female in there so they don't predate the babies. So last night I'm just checking around the animals, and I noticed a lot of the babies have started to leave the mum. So I really quickly made up another box for the other adults. Even though I want to show you how I set them up, it's already done now. But I'm just going to show you what the setup is for whip scorpions, a bit of a general basic care sheet or care video of how to look after them. Let me just get rid of my tea in a minute. Okay, so this obviously isn't a display box. I use a glass display case for those when I'm doing an event. This is a living in and breeding box. So what I've done is I've got some of these from the local DIY store, the taller variety. I've then made a hole on either side or either end with a hot flathead screwdriver, and the reason why I don't use a blade or a serrated saw of some sort is because I'll probably cut a finger off, and these boxes love to split. Then I glue with a hot glue gun a mesh to the box. The reason why the vents are quite big is because these live in caves in Tanzania, so there's a lot of ventilation and also a lot of humidity. So got the ventilation, and the humidity is me using a particular substrate and spraying daily. So, got the holes either side, meshed up. Now, normally I use a substrate like cocoa fibre mixed with vermiculite, but what I've done on this occasion is because I was in a bit of a rush. The vermiculite was in another room, and I wanted to get these set up really quickly. I put a substrate that I normally use for tarantulas and scorpions, mixed with a bit of vermiculite, and then added some of the big cork bark pieces that they live on. So I'll just see if I can show you them. There's a male and female on this one, like I say. So there's the male and female. The male's at the bottom, the female's just gone over the top. You can tell this one's the male because his elbows, I suppose you could call them, they're wider than the first pair of legs' knees. You can see that quite clearly there. The female, her elbows are about the same width as her knees. You see that? Now they are very quick, but I've never been grabbed by one of their claws. I've never been bitten. It's difficult to get bitten by one of these anyway. But I've always found that once they're on you, they're very calm. Just go careful because they are very quick and they are quite delicate. Let's get these back in there a moment. So these were set up last night in a bit of a rush. The female that's had the babies is here. She's only got a small piece of bark at the moment. I'm going to transfer them into a smaller enclosure so they don't struggle to find their food. These will be fed on fruit flies, and of course if I just chuck a load of fruit flies in here, there's a lot of space for them to go to. So what I want to try and do is keep them in a more confined space so they can find food more easily. I'm just going to try and show you these. This might not go too well. I'm going to bring the camera a bit closer and see if I can show you the babies. There's a couple of photos I'm going to put on as well, which will you'll see the babies on her back, because I didn't manage to video them while they're on there. But yeah, bear with me a second. think I've counted about 26 babies there. They will go darker. They were very light when they're born. They're sort of a yellowy green. And then they spend until their first molt on mummy's back. There's a load of their molts all joined together. I don't know if you can see that. So that's just all molted skins of the babies. There's quite a few in there. Like I say, I want to try and get them into a smaller box. So I'm going to give them a spray a moment because it's starting to dry out a little bit in there. Now this is boiled rainwater, which has then gone cool. There we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to every now and then do a video on these. Just showing you how big they're getting, how they're getting along, etc. One other thing I need to mention, I do always put a tropical orange woodlouse, or a few of them, sorry, into each enclosure. They like to feed on all the little leftovers of scraps and food, etc. So they're like a little cleaner upper crew. So if you can get any of those, if you haven't set up as well, they're brilliant, they're great. Right, let's go get the camera back, bear with me. So, I keep these at room temperature, which, in all fairness, this room is 25 to 26 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit off the top of my head. So it's fairly mild in here anyway. Like I say, a lot of ventilation. I give them a spray daily and nightly. Said that the babies eat fruit flies. What I'll do is as they get older and get bigger, I increase the food size. So the adults, I don't feed them crickets very often, because if any of them decide they're going to shed, they're vulnerable when they shed, and the crickets can eat them. So for these, I tend to feed them small cockroaches, small mealworm, and the occasional waxworm. And yeah, I think that's it on the care of these. They are communal, even though one of the males did get eaten by a female. But if there's any other things you specifically want to ask about these, pop it in the comments field below. Or you can contact me through my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/tropical discovery workshops, one word. Or there's my Instagram, which is at tropical_discovery_workshops_. You'll find me. Now I'm going to wrap this up because I've got a few other things to video tomorrow, which I'm going to pop into the next episode. So if there is any requests, pop them into the comments field below as well, and I'll try my best to oblige with those. And until then, stay safe, stay awesome, take care, bye bye.